Hello, Living Dead Dolls fans. This is Josh, aka Doggiepants, and I'm coming at you with another Living Dead Dolls review. I apologize for the delay. I was finishing up a show that I was working on, but now I'm done. And it's summertime. I'm trying to take the summer off, so maybe I'll be a little faster. No promises. We'll see. But we're going to just keep going with the series dolls. We are on to Series 8. Really great series, by the way. Start with the coffins. Black coffins. They do have the handles with the little bats that we've seen quite a few times now. And then they have pink tissue paper. One nice thing about Series 8 is that they went back to the drawings of the Living Dead dolls, and I always love the drawings on the front of the chipboards there. So we have the drawing right there on the right, and then on the left we have her name, Hollow, and her poem. And then it looks, I'm going to bring it close, ooh, I don't know if you can see it, like blood swirling in water or something. That's kind of the background there. It's a pretty simple chipboard, but very nice. Always love those. So they have drawings for all 5 of the dolls. Like usual, I'm going to go from my least favorite doll to my favorite. It may be different than most people's. I tend to have very specific opinions, especially on Series 8. They're all great dolls, though, so that's one nice thing. But we're going to start with my least favorite, which is actually Hollow. That's not to say that Hollow is a bad doll. Let me back her up so you can see her better. She's actually, whoa, maybe I'll make her stand better. She's actually a really great doll. So let's get started looking at her outfit. So she has this dress, and it looks very, very detailed, and it is, but it's actually a little deceptive because it's all one piece. So this black looks, because you see the little seam right there in the middle, looks like it might be 2 pieces, but it's not. That's just a seam. The whole thing velcros up the back. She has a little bit of ribbon here that starts on the side of the dress and comes around to the back and then just ties here. You can easily untie it and then on Velcro, take the whole dress off. Her sleeves, she has kind of this lovely, I don't know, what do you want to call them? Puffy pirate sleeve, like Seinfeld puffy pirate sleeve going on here. That has elastic in it so that it does actually grab her arm, and that's what creates the kind of 3 tiers there. And then we have a little bit of lace on the bottom. She has that same lace right around the top of the dress. I'm going to show you in the back. It'll probably be easier to see. There you go. Do you see that? Goes all the way around the front. Does a little doop, doop, doop thing. Then we have that same lace around the bottom, but this is actually like a little petticoat. I'll lift it up so you can see. There we go. And it's actually mesh. So it has a little bit of, it's like not a tulle. It's a little bit stranger, or a really, I don't know, big hold tulle. Is that a thing? But that's what it is. And then it's sewn underneath to the dress back here. You can see it kind of pinned. So it is all one piece. There we go. She comes with the standard Mary Jane shoes and then white socks. Love a sock on a doll. Then she has this adorable bonnet. And the bonnet is tied in the front, but it does easily come untied. And you can take it off. So there we go. So this is the bonnet. It has a little bit of padding around the front to give it, I don't know, is that a Little House on the Prairie kind of feel, I guess? It's black. It has the same little lace detail around the front. But that's her hat. So let me show you the doll without the hat. Her hair gets a little smushed inside the hat. You'll see that. So if you do like to display her without, you may need to do a little bit of zhuzhing. She has a lot of gel in her hair, and that's to keep the intense curl. It's interesting, when this doll was first released, the prototype image, she actually had these little black bangs, and you couldn't see much hair. And then when the final, versions came out, she had these big blonde curls that felt a little House on the Prairie-ish. So that was an interesting change. I kind of like the little black hair better, but still very, very cool doll. She has a textured face, very similar to Posey. So you'll see the little bumps and things on her face. Her face paint is one of my favorites. I think it is so beautiful and really, really haunting. There we go. Look at those eyes. Great eyebrow, and the shadowing around the eyes, really, really nice. And then the color of her eyes are light pink. The paint job does get a little wonky here and there. I don't know if you can see that on that eye, so you want to just keep an eye out for that. She has a really simple gray lip, and it also has a little bit of pink around the edge, so she really does kind of have a dead feel. She has pink shadowing on her hands as well, so her hands look a little worn, like she's been digging or something. She's a pretty haunting doll, but great doll. So that's Hollow. Moving on. Angus, little rot. Angus is also a very cool doll. When he first came out, I wasn't a huge fan because I thought there was just a whole lot going on. I think this was a doll that was designed by Mez, actually. I'm pretty sure they did a little contest where you had to figure out who designed which of the dolls in Series 8, and Mez designed Angus. But yeah, let's take a look at him. Anyways, so Angus, he's got a lot of things going on. He has this lovely coat that I'm going to remove so you can get a good look at it. Actually, if I can get it over the hook. There we go. Yes. So it's a standard kind of overcoat. There we go. Kind of Living Dead doll's coat. It has a patch right here on the right arm. And then it's cut jagged on the sleeve, on the hand where he has the hook coming out of it. So it really looks like something mangled, horrible happened there. And then on that side of his body, you'll notice too, this is why I want to take it off so you get a good shot of it, big holes in the jacket as well, like intentional cut marks. It's pretty interesting. Don't know what happened to this poor guy, but something bad. Then he has a little slit up the back of the jacket, but that's the jacket. And then the rest of his outfit is pretty much all one piece with the exception of the hood that he wears. So it's a gray top that has little black buttons. And then you'll also know he has this, notice that he also has this little black ribbon tie that ties right there in the front. This is not removable. It's one of those kind of fake ribbon, kind of like hollow stress. So you can untie it, but it's just going to hang there. And again, obviously the buttons are not working buttons. They're there for detail. He has black slacks, and then this whole piece Velcros right up the back. He has standard Living Dead dolls black shoes. They're pretty shiny. They seem like tuxedo shoes. And then he is wearing black socks. Now you'll notice Angus has this hood on it, and this hood is what kind of material is that? It's like I can't think of what the material is. But it's muslin. Muslin? Wow, muslin? Josh, way to go. Muslin. Yes, so it's made out of that, and there is one hole for his eye. The tie is made out of twine, and you want to really be careful if you're going to take this off, and I think I just screwed it up. Let's see if I can get this off of this doll. Because this thing falls apart easily, and I may have just destroyed mine. May have to get some new twine for this doll. Oh, come on. Well, I think we can get his hood off without it, so let's see. Yeah, I got it. So the twine's on there. I'll fix that later. But here's the hood. The hood does come off. And here he is, Angus. There's his face for you guys. Now, there were 3 different versions of Angus that came out. This is the torn face variant or version. I guess they were equal in their run, so it wasn't, one's not more rare than the others. I don't believe that's true. If I'm wrong, please leave a comment. This is the torn version. He has a kind of a banged up eye on that side. He has the little red cross on his forehead. And he seems a little surprised by the whole thing with his yellow eyes. It's really nice paint detail, really, really lovely. And I love a green doll. Green dolls, my favorite dolls. And they never sell well. Always bothers me. But what can you do? Yes. So the other versions, let me see if I can remember. One is, it's half of his face is brown. So I think he's referred to as the burned version. And then the other one is got a screaming mouth, and he has 2 pupils in one eye. It's actually my favorite one. I don't love the screaming dolls, but I love the double pupil. It's really freaky. Yeah, but this is the torn version. So whenever you see Angus Little Rock torn, this is this version. He has blood on his left hand. There we go. It's a nice blood detail there. Obviously blood on the shirt as well. Blood on the hook. And here's another interesting thing that people might not know about. Oh, I think it's true of him. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be lying to you guys. I thought his hook popped off. But that might just be Gregory. Yeah, I think his hook doesn't pop off. I'm a total liar. Gregory, we'll get to him eventually, pops off and there's like a little bone. I thought he was the same, but mine's either really stuck or doesn't actually come off, so I may have been lying. Yeah, but that's Angus. Great doll. I used to have all three. Now I only have one. What can you do? Next up is, because you gotta have faith, Faith, who is a very, very simple doll. Again, a green doll, and I love her. I remember back in series like 3, 4, there was an interview with Damien where he was talking about he always wanted to make a doll that had drowned, but they didn't know how to do it because how do you make a doll look wet? And so this was their first drowned doll, and this is kind of how they made it happen. Oh, that's not true. I guess Hush was kind of made to look a little wet. I think those comments were before Hush. But she definitely has drowned. That's in her death certificate and everything. And you'll notice that her body, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in this video because of the light, is really, really shiny. It has this coating to it, so she's glossy. So she looks really wet. Yeah, her dress is, not dress, her bathing suit is very, very simple. It's a little black and white outfit, all one piece. It Velcros up the back. And it has like a little skirt that's sewn in, so you can see, you can lift that up, bring it down. Yeah, so it's kind of an old-timey bathing suit feel to it. And it does have a little bit of a stretch to it. It's not quite elastic, but there's definitely some give. It's meant to look a little dirty, like she's been rolling around in the river or something like that, which is a nice detail. Again, she is green, and you'll notice it's kind of like a speckled green. The color of the paint job is really, really interesting. And that's all over her entire body, including her face. She has a pretty standard Living Dead doll's face, a really simple eyebrow, blue eyes. She has kind of the dark shadows around her eyes, and the black lip. I just love the simple dolls. I always have. And then she has this really nice hair. And her hair is very thick for a Living Dead doll. And it is longer. Again, with her in the prototype photo that came out, her hair was only to about here. It was actually much shorter. And then we saw when the doll came out, they had extended it, which is interesting. And then she has a side part. So her hair tends to cover one of her eyes. Now, some people may be surprised that this doll is higher than both Hollow and Angus for me, but I've always loved the simple dolls, and I think she's fascinating. Plus, she's green, and I love the green dolls. So, deal with it. Next up is Grace of the Grave. One of those dolls that was really not popular when it came out and slowly has gained in popularity since then. When I was refilling my collection, I had a really hard time tracking her down. People tend to keep this doll. And maybe it was just the time I was looking. You know, sometimes you look and the dolls go for $90 and then the next day they're $12. So you never know. But yeah, she is awesome and quite a catch. So let's start with her outfit. She has this dress, which is similar, muslin texture to Angus's hood. It has blood and dirt all down the front, and then you'll notice this amazing bloody handprint right there. There is no blood on the back, so it looks like somebody came at her on the front and they've been, you know, running their hands down her body and begging for, I don't know. But anyways, they didn't get to her back apparently, which is fine, but just be aware. Then she has this black hood. You want to be careful with the hood because the hood is not finished on the edges, so it frays quite a bit. I don't know if you can see all the little hangy threads and stuff like that. That's true of the muslin as well. Around the bottom, you'll see that, and on the sleeves. It's intentional, but even in its intention, you have to be careful because the dress can obviously fall apart. You don't want that. Where this doll gets to be fascinating is her amazing head sculpt. And I'm going to pull this hood down to show you. Actually, let me show you this real quick. Her hood, or her little wrap, her head wrap, goes around, and it's actually sewn here on the side. You'd have to clip the threads if you wanted to take this hood off to make it all one piece. I wouldn't recommend it because you'd have a really hard time getting it back on her. But it's hard to see the amazing details of the face if you don't. But I'm going to pull everything down so you can get a good look at it. Here is the very, very haunting face of Grace of the Grave. So she's a plague victim, obviously. Her face is all textured, and you'll notice that it comes all the way to the back of the head as well. They almost look like bullet holes, and they got a lot of slack for this doll at first because people were saying that it was making some sort of comment on a certain ethnicity, and they look like bullet wounds, but that's not the intention, I don't believe. I mean, they do definitely look like little holes, but I think it's much more plague-ish than it is bullet-ish. And then she has this very freaky cut in her face. One side goes up, one side goes down, red. She has a black lip. Then she has these simple black eyebrows and these red eyes. Now, these red eyes were clearly painted a certain color. You can see it underneath. Ooh, I'm terrible with this new camera. You can see it underneath. And then they painted this like red gloss over top of it so you could only see the eyes coming slightly through. It's a really scary, amazing detail. So Grace of the Grave, fascinating. They haven't done anything like that before, or since, really, I don't think. But very, very amazing, amazing face paint. She has the similar texture on her arms and her hands, and the hands have some paint treatment and fingernail polish as well. That's pretty haunting. So that is Grace of the Grave. And so obviously my favorite and most people's favorite from Series 8 is Lost. One of the most expensive series doll that you can get. So I'm going to show you her real quick. Here she is. Another simple doll. Again, this series is simple and beautiful, with the exception of Angus. He's very busy, but still beautiful. Yeah, so let's get to it. When they were designing this doll, or when they designed this doll, they said that they wanted to create a doll that felt like it was a ghost. It was almost kind of a forgettable character that would just show up and would be terrifying in its simplicity. And so they created the Lost. So the Lost has this black dress, and it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. I'm sure you can see that. It's gathered around the waist, but it is all one piece. She has this pink ribbon that goes around her waist, this high-waisted dress, and then it velcros up the back. The sleeve is a little bit puffy, you can see that, and then it does have a little binding around the arm as well. That's pretty much it for her dress. The only problem with this version, because there are two versions, I'll get to that in a second, is that she has so much staining. You can see it definitely on this arm. This doll, the dyes from this dress come off this doll really, really easily, so you want to just be aware of that. Her hair is very, very thin, and you can see it's only rooted to a certain point, and so this was clearly done on purpose to make it look like her hair is super thin and you can see through it. It's scary. But when I first got it, I was like, what the heck did they do to this doll? But it grew on me. Yeah, so she has very, very thin hair. Be aware of that. The face paint is really nice. She has a black eye with just a white little dot in the center, black lips, and then the airbrushing around the eye. You'll notice that it looks a little dirty at times, and it's clearly intentional. I thought it was one of my dolls, but it's on all of the Lost that I've seen. You'll see that like little black smudge around the bottom of her eyes. It's painted on. It's part of the detail of the doll. I kind of wish it wasn't there. I like it more just haunting and simple. I'm not sure what they were going for, but that's okay. It's on both the white and the black version. So, the white version. There is a version of Lost that is in a white dress with the same kind of light pink ribbon. And that's just two of them. And they were both released in stores. For every two of the black version, there was one of the white. So the white is more rare and harder to track down. I because I'm a bit of a purist with my dolls right now, stuck to just the regular version. Like, not a pure. I can't afford to collect every doll that came out, so I'm trying not to get any variants yet, because if I buy one variant, it'll just get out of control. So I don't have the other White Lost, but you can get an idea what she looks like by her doll. She comes with an accessory, and she's the only doll from Series 8 that comes with an accessory, and it's a little rag doll. And what's interesting is the black version has the rag doll in the white dress, which is similar to the other Lost. And then the White Lost comes with the rag doll in the black dress, which is similar to her. So they look really, really nice when they stand next to each other and they're holding their doll. The doll has pretty much an identical dress, has a little pink ribbon. It's just a white doll. It is a little dirty, and I think it's intentionally meant to be dirty. So just be aware of that. Has two little button eyes, and then a sewn cut on the head and a sewn mouth, and then a couple little spots right here by the neck. And then the rooting of the yarn on the doll is like a mohawk. So it's just right down, how am I going to show that to you? Right down the center. So if you do want to kind of spread it out, you've got to do it by hand and just be careful of it. But that is the Lost's little doll. And I try to display her in her hand, which is nice. Oh, also the Lost doesn't come with shoes. Neither does Grace of the Grave or Faith. 3 of the 5 dolls did not come with shoes in this series. Just heads up. Yeah, so that is all of the dolls. I'm going to stand them up here like I always do. There's only 5 this time, so it'll be a little bit easier, I think. But let's not stand them directly in front of each other. Okay. So let's do some scores. The scores are probably going to be pretty high because I really do like this series. For Angus, he's a bit busy for me, but I still like him. I would give him maybe 3.5 stars. Same with Hollow. I love her face paint, one of my favorite face paints. I would have liked it better with the black hair. 3.5 stars. I would give probably 3.5 stars to Faith as well. Beautiful, simple, great doll. Wait, what's my scale? 1 to 4, 1 to 5? I think I change this every time. I'm going 1 to 5 right now. Whatever. Anyways, so Grace, out of a 1 to 5 scale, I would give 4 stars to, and then for The Lost, I would give 4 stars as well. They are all beautiful, wonderful, wonderful dolls. Highly recommend going out and buying them. If you can find a Lost, she tends to go for at least $100. It happens. Just a great doll. It's worth it. But that's it. That is Series 8. I'll try to come back at you with Series 9. I may take a little bit of time to get Series 9 because I'm trying to track down a gas mask because my Toxic Molly I bought without it, thinking that I was going to just buy a war and replace her and try to get her more complete because I tend to do that. I buy broken dolls and try to make them prettier. So if you have a war doll that you want to sell me or a gas mask that you want to sell me, leave a comment, please, because I'm hoping to get it before I do the review. But if not, I'll do the review, and you guys can just imagine what she looks like with her beautiful gas mask. That is it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll come back to you as soon as I can. And have an awesome day.
Guess you know it's true. Hope you need my love, babe, just like I